Sorry, I wasn't sharing my screen. Cool. Okay, welcome all to this week's AIE working group call. Fan, I see you've already got updates in the agenda. Do you want to start talking through your thoughts?
Yeah, sure. So the first one is it's address a comment from the upstream folks. I added a comment in the PR to explaining uh, Orion's comment about the why we need both admission and the conversion runtime conversion validations. So that's a deep guidance for checking the LMU devices pass through. That is both they are not override, but both of them are required. Um, I also add create a follow-up PR to move the Grace Blackwell devices validation at the beginning of the domain convention, so that before all the domain mutations, so that would be make more sense.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You've got it.
Please feel free to review the PR.
Yeah, no, that all looks good. What were the side effects of it being modified in memory though? Like it was never used, right? If it failed, it was. This is just failing quicker, I guess.
Yes, fail fast.
Okay, fine. Okay, that's all good. All right, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely review it after the call.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, the second thing is I want to talk about our plan on the Grace Blackwell and the Rubin feature support in the KubeVirt AIE. Think yeah, we have landed the baseline of the Grace Blackwell support in the mainstream for the targeting the release 1.9. That's only very basic baseline for the IOMU FD devices pass through and running the VMs using the SNU v3. So, however, there are a few quite a few quiz Blackwell and very Rubin features we need to support. So we wanted to start in the we wanted to create a new branch, AIE branch, on top of the 1.9. Yeah, based on the how the 1.9 release cycle, we will adding some feature support there for the virtual EGM, virtual command queue, and yeah, the CXL. CXL is the EGM command line queue. They are new features introduced by the Grace Blackwell. We will definitely need to implement that. They require the kernel, libvirt, and QEMU. I think on NVIDIA side, all of them are ready, already and shipped. So I I synced up with our kernel team that Red Hat for NV has picked up the QEMU and the libvirt patches already. They are going to release in July. So, um, I think maybe I'm not a percentage 100% sure, but maybe in a few months, all of these features are ready in the CentOS, I guess. Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong. So I think,
So in the short term, they're already available in CentOS Stream, the AIE SIG builds for this. So EGM and the command queue should both be present already
okay,
for there. So it comes back to something we were talking about last week. We already have a 1.9 branch for AIE as well. That cut against. Um, I think it's against beta, or is it? I've probably rebased it since, but this is all prior to code freeze, so I need to rebase this branch anyway. There's nothing stopping us from having another branch as well if we want to specifically target, if you want to target the NVIDIA implementation for this stuff in terms of the kernel, QEMU, and libvirt. Um, but for this particular branch, for the AIE branch, we will be aligning with the CentOS Stream AIE builds for the kernel, QEMU, and libvirt. So yeah, everything should be present at the moment for those two things. But if like going further down your list, um, there may be things where we start to see divergence from what's available in the AIE SIG kernel, for example, and any NVIDIA kernel, especially for like things like CCA that are still actively being developed. So yeah, I personally don't mind if we have two competing 1.9 branches with different targets for Kemu and the kernel and everything, as long as we obviously like collaborate as much as possible and try and share as much as we can. But I think for some of the things on this list, there'll be very different kernels. So I don't know if on our side we're going to get to CCA, for example, during the 1.9 kind of release. That I think for us it was more of a 1.10 thing potentially.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I think, yes, yeah, that sounds good. So for the Grace Blackwell features, EGM command line Q, yeah, as you said, that would be a blocker, I think. Um, but there are two development branches on NVIDIA side. LibreVirt is on top of 12.4, and the QMU is on top of 11. So that new branch is development branch. I just mentioned in the document in our meeting notes. Um, so these two branches are the development branch that NVIDIA is working on the CCA support for the Vera Rubin. So we might in the KubeVirt and IE, NVIDIA KubeVirt and IE, we might need to develop the features using these two versions for the LibreVirt and the QEMU.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Like I'm yeah, I think for us, we do have like our own downstream commitments that we want to kind of feed through this effort. So, but at the same time, we don't want to block any collaboration with you guys upstream. So I think having parallel branches here for 1.9 is probably a path forward that we're going to probably have to take if you guys want to tackle or start tackling CCA during 1.9. Because yeah, I think, and especially with these builds as well, if you're gonna NVIDIA are gonna kind of pile commits against these versions that change APIs or introduce new bits and pieces and stuff. That would probably be the the better approach, the more pragmatic approach for us to kind of just do as much as we can together. So with EGM, with the command queue stuff, like the implementation for that, we can definitely kind of collaborate on, and it can be both branches, probably be practically the same, hopefully, um, assuming that things have been implemented the same on the in the lower levels. CXL and I don't recall too much about it, but with CCA especially, like yeah, we might have to just have the two separate branches there just to allow you guys to then kind of proceed and march on with that stuff. With the kernel as well, is there a kernel project and fork and everything where all of the CCA stuff is going to land somewhere?
Yeah, so there are a few kernel patches. Yeah, NVIDIA has a repo kernel patches. So I think that the kernel team has upstream many of them. We're waiting for upstream to review, and they got some merged to the canonical the Ubuntu. I'm not sure how many of them will be picked by the Red Hat. Let me give you a link.
I was just wondering what the kind of target kernel was, and if it's a Ubuntu kernel, um, that completely makes sense. I think, yeah, there's other teams and other folks at Red Hat who are focused on bringing that stuff across initially into AIE and CentOS, and then upstream and downstream again. So, um, yeah, that kind of harps to us having parallel branches because there could be even at a kernel level changes that come in that mean the implementations in each branch are going to be slightly different. Um, okay. I'm more than happy to help bootstrap a branch for you guys if you'd like a specific 1.9 branch alongside our CentOS Stream AIE branch. So yeah, I'm more than happy to write that down as an action item. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Uh, yeah. Are you sharing the screen?
I was sharing the wrong tab. I do apologize. Sorry. So I was just writing a to do down on here. Sorry. Specific release. I don't know what we'd
Yeah,
call it.
so also another thing is, I think, yeah, we have a many, uh, yeah, we needed to align. I think it would be better to align the versions across kernel, libvirt, Qemu, across different projects. So maybe it would be better for us to summarize a document and the metrics. That would be helpful.
Yeah, I can help summarize that. But again, to kind of reiterate what I think was said in previous calls, when it comes to upstreaming this into KubeVirt, um, we will be able to land things as alpha, I think, pretty easily. But to move to beta and beyond, I like we probably need to talk to the community about this. But my understanding at the moment is that things need to be available within CentOS Stream, and the version of CentOS Stream that the community that main is aligned to at that point in time. Um, that probably needs to be revisited now that we're kind of turning into a multi-hypervisor kind of project, and we've got people like yourselves and obviously SUSE and other kind of vendors reducing features and helping out with the project as well. But um, yeah, that's probably a follow up for once this stuff is we begin the upstreaming process. But it's something to be aware of at the moment. I think like that is the default policy, is that it needs to be in CentOS Stream itself. So, um, but yeah, in the case of this effort, we can, even if we've got different branches, we can definitely document um, the versions that each branch is working to, and to known to kind of work against and everything. I think that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I can put my name here.
That's cool. I don't understand why it's not finding you. You are literally on the document. Nope. Okay.
Maybe it's company based. So,
I don't. Yeah, this is my corporate account, but it should still be able to see you and look you up. That's weird. And I should be able to spell as well. There we go. Cool.
okay. Yeah, other things that we are going to do is we are planning and scoping the work for the CCA support. involving the TE, ARM CCA. So that's for the ARM CPU, ARM VM, CPU VM. We also need to do, we also have a working for the secure or confidential GPU pass-through. So for the Vera CPU and the Rubin GPU for the pass through a pass through a Rubin GPU to the CVM, KubeVirt CVM. So that's a work. I noticed that you have a web and uh, draft PR for the secure boot on the ARM. So I wanted to know what's the status and the progress.
Yep, sorry, double muted. Yeah, so it's pretty much done. It missed 1.9 unfortunately because the dependencies landed in CentOS Stream 10, like the day of code freeze or the original code freeze. And the PR up until that point had been using Virt Preview to pull various bits and pieces in. So yeah, I just didn't have enough bandwidth or time at that point to rework it, and it wasn't urgent from our point of view, so I didn't kind of proceed with it. But it should just be a simple rebase and then getting rid of the Virt Preview stuff and just pulling the dependencies in from CentOS that's required to get this landed as alpha in main. It does depend on a firmware auto selection feature that's also landed as alpha. That did actually land as alpha in 1.9. So yeah, we'd need those two things. We should be able to backport this to your branch. I'm not sure it's something that we're going to use for 1.9 because it does include admission webhook admission changes. And our target again for 1.9 as it was for 1.8 is to produce a minimal fork. So we're just basically providing a Virt launcher image, and everything else is stock 1.9. So yeah, this wouldn't technically work with what we're going to be doing. But yeah, for you guys, if you're going to be building fully from the 1.9 branch and producing a complete fork, including the webhooks and the admission webhooks and everything, um, yeah, we should just be able to cherry pick it across, and it should just work for you.
Okay, okay. So yeah, sounds good. Uh, uh, is it is this PR still targeting for the release 1.9?
No, 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 no. It's not going to get into 1.9 now. So the upstreaming of this will get into 1.10 hopefully.
1.10. Okay. Okay. Also, yeah. I had a yeah. I had a look at your PR. Yeah, it looks good. But I have a yeah. I had a question, but it's using the auto detection, the firmware on the platform, right? So and the dedicated libvirt to populate the parameters, generation
Mhm.
the generation the both configurations. Um, but I feel like it missing a fail fast check the compatibility of the platform. For example, if it cannot find the compatible firmware, so the secure boot will fail or not, or it start with a non-secure boot.
Um, I think it fails at boot time. Um, yeah, because it fails to actually populate the required bits, even though you've requested secure boot. And or am I mixing this up with the Fedora thing? Uh, no, I think that's right. Yeah, that is right because um, during testing for this, some of the Vert preview builds that I used initially didn't list the correct God, what are they called, vars or whatever they are. There was some part of the auto detection that didn't work, so that they just didn't exist in the packages that were provided, and the VM would still attempt to boot under secure boot, but obviously there's nothing populated in there, so it would just fail the initial checks as it initially came up. Yeah, we can potentially refine that. So if we can, I guess it's up to liver potentially to fail in that situation if you've got auto detection on, but I can't recall if there's something in the domain XML that we can set to tell liver just to kind of reject the domain then and there if it's unable to find anything instead of attempting to boot. The liver Andrea and a few other liver devs have been pretty proactive in watching this stuff and guiding it, so I can definitely reach out to them. Um, and if there is something that we can set in the domain XML to make it fail fast and to avoid having to wait for a domain to kind of not come up, yeah, potentially we can do that. Um, yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, thanks. Uh, oh yeah. Oh, what? Yeah, just one. I'm curious. How would you test the secure boot?
So at the moment, using Ubuntu, um, unfortunately. So Ubuntu is the one guest that I've got working with this. Fedora 44 uh, was supposed to have all of the required bits and be signed correctly for this to work on ARM64, but they messed up, and so that has been delayed to 45. Um, it was yeah, that technically was another reason to delay this as well, because I didn't really want to have to pull down the Ubuntu image every time we wanted to test this in CI. But yeah, we'll hopefully for 1.10 we can just use Fedora 45 as the test image, and it should just work.
Yeah, would it be possible to make a automation test or unit test testing the guest having the secure boot feature? For example, running the mock UTL.
Sorry, double muted again. Yeah, so at the moment I stripped down the test so it only booted the thing. But yeah, I did make a note that you could use mockutil to dump the state. Oh, and yeah, there's a blog post about why Fedora 44 isn't usable as well, and why we have to wait for 45. But yeah, this should be something we can test just in our vanilla ARM64 lanes, hopefully, once this lands.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, very useful.
Yep, no, it's all good. Yeah, and hopefully having it in your branch and having it tested as part of CCA and everything as well, like that's going to give us some, uh, lots of early feedback for both of those features. So it's actually super beneficial that we get access to that. That's really good. Um, cool. I will just make a quick note. If I can type this to the front test. Let me just quickly write this down that I need to reach out to liver folks about. Cool. I'll reach out to them about that. Awesome. Cool. Was there anything else we wanted to talk about this week? On the on our side of things, we don't really have any updates because the 1.9 verification that we were attempting to do kind of stalled because we lost access to a whole load of hardware, unfortunately. I'm hopefully getting access again tomorrow from tomorrow. Um, but yeah, we haven't been able to kind of move forward. So all of the bootstrapping, the verification stuff for 1.9 unfortunately stalled out for a good week and a half at this point. So hopefully from tomorrow we'll make some more progress, and our branch will start to look more up to date and reasonable. And yeah, we can then stand up your branch and hopefully start kind of collaborating and working through EGM and command queue and everything initially, um, and we can go from there. Cool. Anything else from you, Fan, today?
Yeah, thanks. I think, yeah, that's all from my side.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you very much. All right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining yet again. Take it easy, and we'll catch up in 2 weeks. But Fan, I'll be active on the channel tomorrow, and I'll as I bootstrap that branch for you and everything, and yeah, we'll go from there. Cool.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
No problem. Take it easy. Bye.